New Zealand is home to an unfortunate number of racist idiots. They are out there. If you spend much time on the politics side of social media, you will see legions of them. Often they will appear in the comment sections of my videos. Many of them are so dumb that they think I agree with them simply because I criticise the Maori Party. Many of them get angry at me for supporting solutions to racial inequalities. They think we should just condemn children to be crushed by intergenerational poverty. I want to speak about these racist idiots and their stupid and contemptible views. I think the term racist is thrown around far too eagerly. Some people call Luxon a racist. I don't think that is accurate. I do think Winston Peters and David Seymour engage in racist rhetoric, but I don't know that I would call them racists. But there are many racists out there. People who are unambiguously hateful towards Maori and other ethnic minorities. I despise these people. I think the worldview they follow is evil and above all else, stupid. They have a primitive, simplistic view of the world. A tribal view of the world. One group is fundamentally bad, another is fundamentally good. They like to judge entire groups based on the actions of a few. They like to demonize entire groups based on the actions of a few. This is a very stupid and primitive way of understanding the world. Hating an entire ethnic group on the basis of bad behavior from a few. That is dumb and irrational, and it betrays an appalling inability to grasp the nuances and complexities of the world. It betrays a total lack of rationality. The rationality of these people has been destroyed by mindless hatred. The racists are amusing, but they are also very dangerous. Some of them will claim that other races are genetically superior. Some races are low IQ, they claim. Yet they prefer a low IQ white man over a high IQ black man. It has nothing to do with biology, and everything to do with justifying emotional disdain. The whole race science debate is about legitimizing emotional biases, nothing more. The race realist reliably prefers stupid white people over smart non-whites. Racism is what they care about. Nonsensical perversions of science are just a desperate legitimizing mechanism. It is the embodiment and exemplification of motivated reasoning, and it is motivated reasoning of a very low quality variety. The entire race science narrative is garbage, which is no longer taken seriously by any respectable scientist. The racists are fundamentally emotional thinkers. They do not operate based off of reason. They are motivated by hatred, spite, and fear. To the extent that they are capable of reasoning at all, they practice blatantly motivated reasoning. Reasoning which makes very little sense and is never applied consistently. Reasoning which is never taken to its logical conclusion, but only applied insofar as it is convenient for justifying racist stupidity. Motivated reasoning which justifies their emotional prejudice. The victim complex of the racists is also amusing. They will mock and belittle Maori for complaining about devastating historical injustice. And then they will cry and screech whenever people call them Pakeha. Don't call me Pakeha! Pakeha is a slur! How dare you call me Pakeha! You shouldn't use the word Pakeha! This is what they like to say. The victim mindset of these people is incredible. They are absolute snowflakes. They need to toughen up. They will gladly demonize Maori and deny historical injustice, but God forbid someone calls them a Pakeha. Their screaming and crying overshadows even the most dramatic pro-Maori activist. They get offended about such things because, as stated, they are emotional thinkers. They are not reasonable. They get offended very, very easily. They have very thin skin. With some luck, they will watch this video and start seething in the comment section. We shall see. I often see racists attempting to deny the military legacy of the Maori population. It is well known that throughout New Zealand's history, from the Land Wars to the Second World War, Maori were excellent soldiers. Far-right people are often very militaristic, so they get very offended by the idea that Indigenous people were historically very capable soldiers. They are emotional thinkers. They do not like a reality that conflicts with their sentiments, so they try to deny it. They try to claim that Maori were never great soldiers. Maori soldiers challenged and at times defeated the British. They often did this while outnumbered, outgunned, and fighting against British troops who had far greater military experience and knowledge. The British had major advantages, and still the Maori routinely challenged and at times defeated British forces. At the famous Battle of Gate Pa, they managed to defeat the British in spite of being outnumbered and outgunned. Their tactics were notoriously effective and difficult to fight against. If the Maori were never great warriors, how do you explain that? You are putting down your own ancestors when you say things like this because the Maori challenged them and at times defeated them. The Maori have an impressive military history. That is the reality. Delusional denialism from emotional thinkers will never rewrite history. The racists do not understand history at all. Maori face disproportionate poverty. In the not-so-distant past, Maori suffered from massive dispossession. Huge amounts of resources were stolen. Maori were harshly assimilated and urbanized. They were separated from their tribes and communities. They were forced into a modern urban environment where they often lacked the skills and knowledge needed to thrive. They were marginalized, pushed to the fringes, pushed towards desperation and criminality. Poverty was the logical conclusion of this. An intergenerational cycle emerged, as it so often does. It is not that hard to understand why Maori are disproportionately poor. History has consequences. When you steal from people and marginalize them, poverty and criminality become inevitable. But the racists prefer to claim that Maori are just lazy. Because why bother understanding history when you can have a toddler-level understanding of politics instead? The shameless stupidity of it is incredible. Why accept the obvious historical explanation when you could just demonize poor people instead? It is pathetic and disgraceful. The moronic racists cannot even understand that history has consequences. That is how dumb they are. Again, they are emotional thinkers. They are not interested in understanding reality. They are motivated by hatred, spite, and fear. The most disgusting of them have started using the tragic deaths of Maori children to demonize Maori broadly. They see a story of a Maori child killed by domestic abuse, and they weaponize such a tragedy to demonize Maori broadly. Of course, the racist could not care less about the victim. Why would you demonize the victim's ethnic group if you cared about the victim? Why would you incite hatred against the victim if you cared about the victim? The answer is that you wouldn't, because once again, these racist morons are not rational. They are motivated by hate, fear, and spite. Weaponizing the murder of a child to demonize that child's ethnicity. It is a whole new level of disgusting, and this is behavior that I repeatedly see online. Racism has no place in this country. Racism is primitive. It is tribalism of a very stupid and crude variety. It is devoid of rationality. It is defined by emotional thinking motivated by hatred, fear, and spite. Unfortunately, New Zealand is still home to many racist morons. Most people are not racist, but there are plenty of racist morons out there. We must seek to advance. We must create a society that does not partake in such primitive stupidity. We must get beyond this mindless idiocy that has infected this country for far too long.